Hi. So I'm not going to do the Team Ant Siege, or Team Aranta Siege I should say. I'm like in a weird-ish Stigma setup. I don't know if it's the most optimal. And I'm basing this off what I remember people talking about, not actually off what I looked up and what I know. So it's going to look really weird in my hotbars where I have IM, and then I have, instead of Mountain Crash, I have Annihilation. I'm not sure if that's the right call. It might not be, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. And I'm basically just going to try and see how much DPS I can do. I have to say though that Sieges have changed in that they are not about DPS anymore. They were about PvPing the X forms that come and try to block out each faction. So with that in mind, I don't even know if I'll be able to test it. If not, that's too bad for me. At the very least though, hello. Oh hi. And since we have about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes still until Siege, I'm just going to cut off until then, so we'll cut back and pray for the best. Actually, I'm going to hit the record button, might as well. Although there's not really anything to showcase when you're doing Siege. I don't even know if the right food is what I'm using, but it's okay. It has like 12 attacks, so that's good enough for me. Just waiting for the 05 mark and then I pop WoW. Unpause. There we go. Alright, let's see if I can do this. If not, at the very least, I will have dissected the myth for myself.
An incorrect target is set. Move closer to your target.
And I already messed up there by not using Medical Shot. But you didn't see that. I was gonna be worried that I would have like a lack of skills to use, but it's not too bad to be honest. Crimson Carded, sir. Always important to hit your parry buffs right before that, so that you can use Splash Swing, which is awesome DPS, if I do say so myself. Goodbye Cruel World says that Sin is probably tanking the boss. Should swap out of... I only put Magic Mantra on there at the start for Blessing of Wind, because that's an awesome buff. The transform's somewhere nearby, but it's okay. Just in time. Okay, what scroll is this? Oh, anti-absorption. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use another Marchutan's protection. I might. We'll see. Not having the insta-heal is like a total damper on this that you can so feel not having it. How many times did I get Blooming Assault? I don't think I saw it at all. So that's unfortunate. It's not bad. It apparently lists me as a cleric on the DPS meter, so I say LOL to that. How long was that stage? A couple minutes? Yeah, I did pretty good there. Maybe the other classes were slacking or not showing up, but that was not bad for 2 minutes of siege. And I don't think we're gonna get locked out, so I'm gonna cut off recording. Okay, we're gonna look at the result of siege now. Mithril at north and Plat at south. Granted, the Plat one, or at south where I didn't DPS right away, and by the time I did not get that much, to be honest, because I used all my stuff at the north siege, but it's all good. And actually, hold on, before I talk about the setup that I've been trying to study about using, let me just be right back and then I'll talk about it. Okay, hey. So this is after siege, and I was actually having a discussion with other channers on /4 about the most optimal DPS sets, blah blah blah. And you can't really say it because I changed the text color to be some kind of mundane gray, but the consensus, at least that I seem to have gathered from looking on the forums a bit and talking, is that leather is of course the best DPS set for a chanter. I think 50E or the Tech Officer 55 leather are actually pretty good. The 50 is a little better because you have the 6 slot and you can get a little more attack than the 55 Tech Officer. They're both really good though. And honestly, like if you have the time to farm either one of those before 4.0 comes out, I think they'd be pretty nifty in 4.0. Like I hope they would be anyway. I hope my set would be useful. Speaking of which, it's like I said before, it's the seal set, and it's honestly not as good as those two, but it still has attack, and I can't really complain. It's like pretty decent at the very least. I mean, these are my stats, so look at that. 942, 779, 2700. It's like fine enough to get the DPS that I think I can like consistently get. Whoa. Like I can consistently get. I totally botched that one. Other things to point out, my staff isn't the greatest. There are probably better staffs out there, but honestly, like I'm only missing crit in the first window. And the attack is pretty nice from both of these weapons. The Combine, which is the Crucible one, and the Karun. And then full Karun's accessory because they give a little bit more crit strike than the ABG ones. Or the Elios version of ABG, which escapes my mind. GBG? I think it's GBG. Yeah, look at that. It gives like a little bit more. Every bit counts. So yeah, and as for stigmas, I think Hoon on the forums and other people have mentioned hybrid stigmas, and I'm like sold on the idea now. It's IM with Blessing of Wind, and I put Annihilation in instead of Mountain Crash, because I think it's better. I'm not 100% sure. I do know that DB is totally unnecessary because you can't knock down bosses and it's not that good DPS. The one downfall is that I don't have instant heal. In fact, you could probably get rid of Recovery Spell and put Mountain Crash there if you really wanted to, but that would be really bad because then you couldn't really heal yourself like during Siege and you'd die. So yeah, to sum it all up, because I was talking pretty quickly there, 50E leather or the Tech Officer 55 leather, they're pretty good for DPS, like they're solid choices for Chanter. You get about 42 attack from the 50E leather I believe, and 42 crit, and a little bit less than that on the Tech Officer. Maybe the crit's higher for that, I'm not sure. And if you're crazy and you want to farm seals, then you can get it, because it's not a horrible set, but it's definitely not the best compared to those two. And talking choices, I'm not really sure if my crit is too high. I think it's just fine, like 779, whatever. Could probably go for like 800. But that's good enough for me. And, well, actually it's depending on the food I'm using. If I used a different food, I would for sure get over 800. Which I probably should. 12 attack for that much crit. I'm not really sure which would be better in the long run. So I hope this is a little better than my other DPS video, because I know that one got a lot of comments and insight that I thought was pretty useful, and people were like talking about it. But this is just an updated one, and I'll show you again the two comparisons of DPS a couple months ago to now. So yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. I just wanted to make that short and sweet, so yeah. Although I have to say, this looks pretty nice. It doesn't look that great because the shoulders are kind of broad and pointy, but that's not a bad looking set. And now I'm going to cut off from this recording, and I'm not sure if I'm done. Maybe I'll just make this its own little video, but other than that, I will now say goodbye.